Okay, so you want to dive into this mind chaos episode, huh? Coffee, art, and the question of life's meaning. Pretty deep stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot to unpack.
It is, but mind chaos. The podcast is kind of known for that, throwing a bunch of ideas at you and seeing what sticks.
I like that approach, though. Keeps things interesting.
Me too. So this episode, they're asking some pretty big questions, like what's the deal with our love for coffee? Can we find art in everyday life? And the big one, of course, what's the meaning of life?
Whoa, heavy stuff.
Right. But they start with something we can all relate to, coffee.
Well, I know I can't function without my morning cup.
Me neither. But the Mind Chaos hosts, they go beyond just, needing that caffeine fix.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, they talk about the history of coffee. Like how back in the 18th century, coffee houses in Vienna, they were like these centers for intellectual and artistic exchange.
So it wasn't just about the drink itself.
Exactly. It was about the atmosphere, the connection, the ideas brewing alongside the coffee. It makes you wonder if maybe our love for coffee is tied to something deeper, you know, like a craving for creativity and connection.
That's a really interesting thought. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah, and then from coffee, they sort of jump to art.
Sounds like a big leap.
It does, but they actually make this smooth transition. They're talking about finding art in the everyday.
Oh, I see, like finding beauty in the ordinary.
Exactly. Like
Ugh.
they argue that art doesn't have to be confined to museums and galleries. It can be found in the way sunlight hits a leaf, or the steam rising from your coffee cup, or even in the act of cooking.
Cooking as art. That's a new one.
Right. But they make a good point. Think about it when you're really in the zone, in the kitchen, experimenting with flavors and textures. Isn't there a sense of creativity there?
Yeah, I guess there is. I've never considered it that way before, but it makes sense.
And that's what I appreciate about Mind Chaos.
Yeah.
They make you look at things from a different perspective. Like they're encouraging us to be more present, to slow down and appreciate the beauty around us.
And to find that artistic spark in the everyday.
Yes. And they suggest that if we approach life that way, with more awareness and mindfulness, maybe we can tap into a deeper sense of meaning.
Which brings us to the big question, the meaning of life. Did they actually try to answer that?
Well, they definitely tackled it, but they don't give you any easy answers.
I wouldn't expect them to. It's a question that's been pondered for centuries.
Exactly. They talk about this idea of whether meaning comes from these big epic moments in life, like achieving some huge goal or traveling the world.
Or if it's more about the smaller everyday moment.
Right, like that quiet conversation with a loved one or just a moment of peace in nature.
It's interesting to think about which holds more weight.
And the Mind Chaos hosts, they don't shy away from that complexity. They even share their own personal reflections on what gives their lives meaning.
Oh, so they get personal.
They do, which I think is really cool. And their perspectives are also different, which makes sense. There's no one right answer to the meaning of life question.
It's about finding what resonates with you individually.
Exactly. And I think ultimately that's what this episode is all about, encouraging us to embark on our own personal quests for meaning
And maybe that quest begins with being more present in the moment.
and being open to the beauty and art that surrounds us, even in the most ordinary things.
So the next time you're sipping your coffee, maybe take a moment to really savor it. And ask yourself, if every moment can be a work of art, what kind of masterpiece are you creating with your life?